We have to start with a Sheilos from Varev no, from Rav Zilberstein. Someone can give some simcha. He says a Bacha came to with a Sheilah like this. He's dating a Balas Tshuva. They liked each other. They decided to close the deal. Shidduch. Now she goes to her father. Her father is how many times you date? 6 times, 7 times. You're crazy, you're getting married to this guy, you don't know him. He says, you know what? He's an expert in graphology. So bring me a piece of paper with Aksav Yad Kodesh, and I'll let you know my opinion. So she goes to the boy and she tells him this strange request. So so he gives a piece of paper. Father examines it. He says, marry him tomorrow. Okay, good. Close the shidduch. Alles is good. What's the shaila? The book is asking a shaila now. Huh?
He analyzed the father writing.
There was another boch in yeshiva, his good friend, who's a din nefesh, a edelkeit. Everyone loves him. Says this guy, he asked that friend to write up a piece of paper.
Oh boy.
So now he's wondering. Now he's wondering. That's
Mekachto.
yeah.
It's not a megachtos because she already went out with it on the right pretense.
Right.
The father's not the one that needs to make the shidduch.
So first of all, this is funny. He finds a beautiful medish. Look at here, Parsha Shmois in right in the beginning of Pekudei. It's in the beginning of Parsha and Aleph in the Medish Rabbah. Here, right over here, Tshuva. In the Sefer Shmois, Parsha and Aleph, it says like this: Elab kodam mishkan kach pasuk and tanchuma b'rebaba ishamuna sarav bebrachos. That a person that's strong with amuna is strong with bracha. Maybe bracha is the other. A person that's honest, the Eibishter makes that there should be a lot of brachas through him. A person that is not a straightforward, not an honest person, he's looking always to become wealthy, even on the expense of not being so honest, the end will not be good. Ishamuna says Moshe Rabbeinu. He was everything by him was honest. He was Ne'emon. Heavy Ishamuna Serah brochas. That's why there was always brochas to Moshe Rabbeinu. Everything, if he was in charge of a project, there was always a brocha there. Lafishu Ne'eman. Because he is Ne'eman. Look at the next paragraph. It's a very strict halacha. Also, the farkes is Adam, behema, kelem, oindem, lamocher, Adam can go on evet knani shezokin, mitzavei sarosher is kona kadeshi a bochur. That he is selling a slave, and he takes and he takes his white hair, and he dyes it to be black. If painting the scala is not really making it more valuable, if it's really making it more valuable, that's fine. But if it's not really making it more valuable, that's not dishonest business. Okay, so this is the Sheilah. So Zokter Zilberstein like this. Look in the next paragraph. Posakar Amadan. I'm all right.
You didn't make a sikkim on the last thing you read?
Yeah. The sikkim is simple. That the Alter Rebbe says in Hilchos Einov Gnevas Das that anything that you do that is disingenuous in business, that you make the mekach look nicer than is really valuable, it's also.
Why did they use that example? The Yochanan is an example of mixing fruit, good fruit with bad fruit.
There's a lot of examples that you brought in Baba
Saying, but Yochanan uses specifically that example.
Because I guess it was a common thing.
Makes
In the marketplace.
fix things up that didn't
Right.
look the way they were.
Right.
It's only if it's misleading.
It's common. You have these people.
Right, so then you're allowed to, if you know, but not for the
You can't
kavanah
paint your
misleading.
boiler. Can't paint your boiler with thicker paint over the hole in the boiler. Filled up with paint.
Yeah, Gneva's das. So l'chayr over here, the shayla was is Gneva's das to the father.
Sure.
So said it Rabbi Hilberstein that he doesn't think it's a problem. Here's his thought. Look in the Ramah Soif Simen Reish Mem in your Dedeya, next paragraph. Imaav Moichem beben Lisa is Isha sheyachipus ben ain't tzarich l'shmoy ala'ab. If a boy wants to dates a girl and decides he likes the girl, he wants to get married, the father comes along and he says, "What? You're marrying this girl? Shumay p'nei. Mitzvahs kibbud ovein. You have to listen to me. I'm telling you, it's forbidden to marry this girl." Need more? Oh. So a person cannot tell his son who to marry. It stands to reason the same goes with his daughter.
Of course.
A man has no right to tell his daughter who to marry or not to marry. Just like a man has no right to tell his son who to marry. So, Mamela, it's not really, he didn't, the person who is, the girl, he dated. And she saw who he is without asking him for his handwriting. He didn't fool her. Like Besul. Besul tried to ruin a shidduch. What happened? So maybe he's doing a toiv enough to this guy. The guy is trying to ruin a shidduch. Who knows what's going to happen to him? The Mishnah says befeidish in the Dorim that noidrim lohorgim v'lacharamim lamoichsim sheitrum afa b'shein etrum hashem shalmelach afa b'shein shalmelach. That a person, these tax collectors in those days were they were all becheskas rishoyim, tax collectors, because it wasn't a fair system. The king wanted money. He used to sell the tax collection to a certain person. So if the person was honest and he made rules, whatever, 8%, 10%, okay, so he has the right from the melech. The problem is that that's not what the tax collectors used to do. They used to make arbitrary rules. So they were all Rishoyim, and they were all Ganovim. So a person, say, Rahman al-San, he's a Jew, he's a tax collector. The guy says, he makes a shvu, he says, this stuff is Truma. A Jew knows it's Chayiv Misa to eat the stuff. He doesn't want to touch it. He says, okay, he runs away. But really it's not true, it's not Truma. Why? Because he's a Ganav. He has no right touching this merchandise. And now he's trying, I have 25 sacks of flour, and he wants to take 12 of them. So I make a shvuah to say that this is really truma, and now it's chayiv mitzvah, so he doesn't touch my flour. He goes away, and I go to the marketplace and I sell it again. So anyway, there is. So he says he doesn't think he did such a terrible thing, but l'chatchila, not a good idea.
Does he have to tell his wife the truth?
Oh, so he says that he thinks that he should break it to her softly.
Father hasn't enough to have.
I don't know. She's agreed to marry him. But then, Agav Urcha, just an interesting thing that is brought in the Tiferes Yisrael and Endom Sachs Kedushin. Just a beautiful story. It's as a child, it had a very strong impression. It's brought in Talks and Tales. It's a Befedish at Talks and Tales. So he says over there a story like this, that when the Eden went out of Mitzrayim, there was a Melech Haravi Echad that heard all about all the miracles that happened, and he really wanted to see a picture of Moshe Rabbeinu. So he sent a few painters, and they came to Machne Yisrael, and they saw Moshe Rabbeinu, and they painted a painting of Moshe Rabbeinu. They brought it back to their country, and then the king
saw him, said that he's a rabbi.
Right, that he said that. They said, unbelievable.
Watch out for him.
This guy is terrible, terrible guy. It's interesting. He brings it because the end of Gemara Kedushin, the Mishnah says, "Toiv sheberoifim legehenim." So the Tiferes Yisrael asks, "What's a pshat? Toiv sheberoifim legehenim. What's a pshat?" So he gives this pshat. He says, "I once saw a medrash, and what's the medrash?"
It's holy.
Yeah, it's holy. So the Medrash says that he went. His Chacham said, "This guy is really terrible news." So he decided he's traveling. He's going there, And he sees Moshe Rabbeinu. He saw maybe the picture's wrong. He looks at the picture's perfect. So Moshe Rabbeinu says, "What's the problem?" So he tells him that I have this picture, and there must be the wise men in my country have no wisdom. I'm going to kick them out of the king's palace. Moshe Rabbeinu says, "Why?" He said, "They told me that you're a terrible person, bad midas." So Moshe Rabbeinu said, "Your wise people are very wise. It's true. They saw correctly, and that is my nature. But because I'm a servant of Hashem, so I worked on myself and I changed my nature. To teach you that a person could change your nature."
This should be a medrash pella.
This is a medrash plea because all the Madrash Chazal say is noiled mol, and when it was malabais oida, and his
neshama was so high when the Tanya speaks about tzaddikim, there's certain tzaddikim maybe just scattered them. He's the makar of all these tzaddikim.
Right. Like we learned the Maim of the Shabbos that Moshe was from Shemitah Rishona. There's that one of the special neshama that came into this world to apply Yisrael.
There's sources of the Medrash.
But he says he saw Medrash. What?
It's his potential, but he still has to work to get there.
So it could be, but still, it doesn't go so much with the smala bias oida. Okay, so it could be. All right, could be mitzad the neshama, mitzad the guf.
But this Medrash, you can't do Medrash the Medrash.
No, but there's a similar thing in a Shita Mukubet at the end of the third Pedic in the Dorim, but it doesn't say like Moshe Rabbeinu. So it could be. But anyway, so why is it negated to graphology is that it's not necessarily a Torah an indicator where a person could be, that maybe according to this Medrash, a person could be that maybe his handwriting or maybe his face is says one story, but a person worked on himself. A person learned Tanya and he learned Pekudei Torah and he take it seriously, or he learned the other Sifrei Musa.
I don't know, this Elo person in Yeshiva really he worked to himself. His real Teva was terrible. His graphology was Shochoi Talmud, so he's taking a risk over there also with the Bacher.
Yeah, exactly.
Some Mukabbalim use it now.
Right. So the emphasis is that you have to be a Chochem Godel to really know these things, and
There's a guy in Crown Heights who does it.
does it? Yeah. Okay, good for him. For him, it's good. Okay. So someone asked a question yesterday, like this. I could say his name because maybe it'll help a little bit in his marketing. He's a wonderful young man, and he became a Baal Tshuva. Mamish is a Betzalel. He's a Baal Chush, and he's good in programming. He's good in whatever he does. He's Mamish a Baal Chush Niflo. Alex Badner. He was very matzliach in his playing guitar as a musician before he became a Baal Tshuva. Part of a band that was very matzliach. He became a Baal Tshuva and left everything behind. If you have any marketing work or anything that is up, that's something that he could do, he's very dedicated and he's a very honest person. Okay, so now that I gave the advertisement for Alex,
You go up, Alex YouTube has a YouTube channel.
yeah, what
I know, but Alex Badler.
Alex Badler?
YouTube, yeah,
Okay.
has over 1 million hits.
Oh yeah?
Sure. He was paid.
You saw it?
I believe him. He said that he's believable.
So, he asked me like this. Someone called him up to do a job for marketing. It was a Kiruv organization, not a Chabad organization. And the problem is that a friend told him, what, this organization, they have mixed dancing for boys and girls, and they do all kinds of things which seem to be not the right thing to do. Chabad, there's walking between the raindrops and such things. There is mamish walking between the raindrops, but it'll be hard pressed to find a Chabad house that organizes dancing between boys and girls. You're not going to find that. You're not going to find that. A Kiruv organization. I can't say the name of the organization, but there's an organization. It's not a Kiruv organization.
Probably not Lashon Hara. They do it for Hesed.
They do the Hesed. That's finished today. Okay. So the Sheilos. So the Sheilos, should he do? So, okay, look, bottom line is like this. We have a story in Naftoida 2 weeks ago, Parshas Kisis, story of Eliyahu Novi. Vayigish Eliyahu La'om, Vayomer Ad Moshe to Poischem al Shtei Seifim al Hashem al Im Hashem Elokim l'chu acharov, V'im Haba l'chu acharov, V'lo Yo'onu Om, Oisei Dover. And then there was a whole story that there was, he made a contest with Nevi Abal, and
Maybe he's sleeping.
yeah, he tells him maybe your God is sleeping. He says V'ivchal on l'shnei porim, and there's 450 Nevi Abal, and they shech the pora, and they're waiting for fire to come down from heaven, and nothing is happening. And Baloisa Mincha, Eliyahu takes his thing, he pours it, he makes it to all, pours a ton of water, and he davens to the Eibishter, and the fire comes down and eats up all the water and the entire carbon, and the whole falls in their faces, and they scream Hashem Olakim. So there's a beautiful sikha from the Rebbe Chelik Aleph with the sikhas Parsha Kisisa. The Rebbe asks a simple question: isn't it better that a person should keep a little of Judaism? He says, "Ad Moshe tam poischem al shnei asifim. Im Hashem Olakim l'chu acharov. The Baal l'chu acharov. Don't go put on tefillin in the morning and then go bow to the Baal in the afternoon. You know what? Don't put on tefillin. Don't eat kosher. Eat cheeseburgers and eat chazer, and don't come to shul and don't put on tefillin." What is it, rhetorical? Or is it, like, is he real? Is it real? Saying such a thing? If a person asks you about keeping Judaism, you tell him, based on this pasuk, you would say such a thing? You'd say, okay, everything or nothing. You keep Shabbos, Taras Mishpoch, you put on tefillin, you daven twice or 3 times a day, you eat kosher, everything or nothing. If you don't pick and choose. Is that the way you can be Mekanim? So the Rebbe says like this. That's a beautiful sikha, but one of the nekudas is these people are never going to do tshuva because they think that they're good. They're serving Hashem, they're a little bit bowing to the Baal because they think that through the Baal, serving the Baal, they get a little bit of wealth. But the Chlolas, they're good people. They're never going to do tshuva. If they're going to serve the Baal, then there's a chance they're going to do tshuva. But if they're only going to serve the Baal, they're going to do tshuva. So here, this is a different thing. When a person is becoming a Baal tshuva, they can't do everything at one time. It's just impossible to do all Torah mitzvahs in one day. It's impossible. So you do one mitzvah at a time. One mitzvah at a time. They start, you get used to doing one mitzvah, you do another mitzvah. Nish gefährlich. What is that? That's the way the Rebbe is madachid. So what's the problem with Reform and Conservative? The problem is that they instituted this as a shita.
Because serving Baal.
They're
serving Baal.
Exactly.
And that's the never say. It was serving Baal. He's serving Baal, and he's serving Hashem.
Oh, it is.
Those are Baal. But serve a little bit.
Oh, it is. They making a shita out of it. You know what? We're going to change Judaism. Here is a yid that he wants to. He's doing one mitzvah out of the Taryag mitzvahs. So, how do you know if an organization is one attitude to the other? So the bottom line is like this. You have to know, is this organization, do they have people that are Gedolei Yisrael and Abonim, people that are Das Torah, that are guiding them? So you might disagree with how they're being guided, but I don't think it's a problem to do marketing for them. If they're not, if it's their own thoughts of how to do Kiruv, so then they're not. If they're doing things that are not api Torah and they're making up their own thing, then that's not called kiruv. That's total. The Rebbe used to say once a moshel. It's also brought in Likutei Sichos. I think it's even Chelik Aleph. Right. So the Rebbe said a moshel that there was once the whole story that was the Frierdiker Rebbe and there was this question of kiruv, and someone asked. The main thing is to do kiruv. What's the difference how it's done? What's the difference how it's done? So he said that if there's a fire burning and Rachmana litzlan, people are in danger, are you going to look what kind of water you're using? Kosher water, not kosher water? What's the difference? You pour whatever, clean water, dirty water. If it's water, you pour the water on the fire. So the Frierdiker Rebbe said, yeah, that's very good, but you're very careful not to put kerosene on the fire. Third Sheilos was asked last night by Shalashudas. There were 2 Sheilos asked. One we got a chance to cover. It was just, because we learned about it a few. The other one is a little more complicated, so I figured we'll do it now. It's a very important shaila, everyday shaila. How much do you have to eat in order to make an ala michya, and how much bread do you have to eat in order to make a birchas hamazon? So there's a little bit of a complication in it. It's not a one sentence thing. So therefore, let's look at it. First is the how much time. So that's a fairly simple thing. Again, we have in this week Parsha, V'veises hashulchan, v'arachtas erchay, lechem aponim. So the shaila is ma'u shir achilas lechem, and mezonis l'chiyah bracha chirayna tshuva. Kama sazan, how much time do you need? Fasik v'sei de birchas hanenim from the Alter Rebbe. Bracha chirayna ben shel oichel ben shel shom ashkem tzrich hashir. Ein achila pchusa mekazayis, and shtia is not less than a devius. How much is a kazayis? A kazayis is a half a kibetza. It's not by weight, it's by volume. So, say, it's probably as ice. You have to squeeze it. You have to get the air out. I'm saying this, not smaller than this. You do a little more, tov alecha bracha. But this I'd say was
This
beer.
is enough to be able to make a bracha.
Yeah. Wait a second. Depending
That's
what we're
three
going to
times today's zayis. Well, actually, it's what because it's a zayis. Katana, it's benini gedolah. If you go to pomegranate, they have every size. So what size are we talking about?
We don't know exactly.
And we also said today's zayis got smaller.
Right.
Is it the big ones that got smaller, or the small ones?
Yeah. Okay. So it's not clear. It's not clear, but
maybe we should
but if you
move on
take
to the big
this and you squeeze it, you're probably going to get close to
one.
the bigger one.
Yeah.
So that's
one
what I'm
big
saying.
one, one big one.
One. Right. So that's good.
So it's by volume, then why are you squeezing it?
Yeah.
It's not by volume.
No, but it is not by weight. It's by volume.
Right.
But you don't count the ear pockets in the bread.
Right.
But you can squeeze them down to...
It's not the Torah l'malachi ashoris. But you have to realize that the old bread didn't have so much ear pockets as this. Right. They didn't have
They didn't need to
professional.
sell it in the storefront.
Right, and also didn't have such professional yeast like we do. We have good professional yeast that we buy. Right. Okay. So let's continue inside again.
While you're at it, can you
Yeah.
also tell us how many of those you have to make a between the mezainis? I mean, birchas hamazon and alamishka.
Right, that's what I want to do.
Okay.
So bracha korona ben shalach ben shal mashkim tzricha shiur shein achila pchusa mekazayis. The achila cannot be less than a kazayis in order to make a bracha korona. Bracha rishona you make even on a mashu. Im yesh metchila achila rishona tzayf achila korona yoysim achdei achilas pras. From the beginning to the end is more than achilas pras. Shu kechatzi kiko shel shisha beitzim. A pras is a half a loaf, and a loaf is as big as 6 beitzim. So machloikas here the Alter Rebbe like the opinions that a loaf is 6 beitzim, so a half is 3 beitzim.
So 12 of those pieces.
Well, this is a kazais.
Right.
A beitza
It's
is
two
right,
kazais.
right, exactly. So ain't a mitzdarfin. Then it's not mitzdarf. So that's a very important question. All the boys can deal about. You have to eat something in the shear of achilas pras in order to have it called achila.
Which means it's not.
So, for example, if a person is a choyla, but in certain cases where you tell someone to eat on Yom Kippur or I want it to Tanesim, and it's not, so you tell them to eat beyoysim echdei achilas pras. So how long is achilas pras? So there's a lot of shittas in here. What's achilas pras? In the Sefer Menhogim brings that Tzemach Tzedek in the Chuvas, in one place he says 6 minutes and on 7 minutes. The most chumra de kashita Chassam Sofer is 9 minutes, and the most kula de kashita, kula. It's not chumra kula. It's like there's no chumra kula. The question is a talk. It says brought from Rabbi Chizkiah de Medini, the Stei Chemed, brings that he heard from Rabbi Hillel Paritcher, that Rabbi Hillel Paritcher said he heard from Tzemach Tzedek 3 minutes. So it's
3 minutes to
so yeah. The Rebbe says in Sefer Menhogim, the ring from the Rebbe says, listen, we can't be responsible for every shmur mit geher. We see that Tzemach Tzedek is 6 to 7 minutes, but we should try to be choishish for the Tzemach Tzedek. It's a shmur, but it could be it was a mishnah chroina. So you should be meichish. So obviously, if a person is gonna lagabi Yom Kippur, should wait 7 or 8 minutes, or maybe even 9 minutes. And legabe brochis, you should eat it within 3 minutes. It's a tough one, really, because people like to Masud the Shabbos or something. People like to talk. So to eat a kazayas in 3 minutes in order to have no shaila about making a bracha chreina. Eat the kazayis within 3 minutes.
We do a Pesach,
Right, Pesach we're very mak, but to do it,
even less than 3 minutes.
well,
That's why this is
to
why,
eat,
that's why you're supposed to
kazayis.
swallow kazayis at once, because it's some. I mean, even though it seems
Pesach
preposterous,
took his ice and
even though
told me.
it seems preposterous to swallow,
We're
that's not how people. Yeah,
Yeah,
people don't do that.
right.
Yeah, that's what Chatzal is giving.
Pesach, you do it in how fast?
I'm not saying it. Every kazayis is to be within 3
Supposed to
minutes.
swallow one kazayis at one time.
Don't swallow his please.
I know.
That's what the Rebbe
That's what the Rebbe did. That's what the Rebbe did.
That's what the oilam is. The ganze Charedische Welt is neu bepoilt. To try. You see everyone's doing that. I don't do that. I can't. You get choke.
But Rabbi,
I'm saying.
you chew it up in your mouth and then swallow it. Once you
Yeah,
start
yeah,
swallowing,
That's why you're supposed to chew it so that you can swallow it all at once.
Now's the time to practice.
No, we don't have matzah. You can't practice because this is bread. We don't have matzah.
Once it goes in your mouth, it starts
2
to
weeks left.
swallow, right?
If you want, when I go in to talk the price for the matzah, I'll bring a couple of matzahs here, and you can practice.
It's be expensive practice.
No, it's free. Yes, the the broken the
the
box.
No, the
Ones
other-
that
The
foolish.
fresh matzah.
Yeah.
Foolish. The
No,
foolish.
no,
I'll
they
bring-
also-
I'll
they
bring a
told me-
But you're saying you're baking after 30 days, within 30
No, but I'll
days.
have
They
to
also
when
say
we talk
10
the
and a
price.
Oh yeah? Okay, fine.
So I can bring a couple of matzahs.
Beautiful.
No,
And
they
I'll
also
look at the
18
practice.
They also have some over 18-minute ones who sell them too,
Uh-huh.
currently.
Okay.
No, if people want to their house, so we can sit high for over 18 minutes. Greenbaum.
Let's talk about the. So now there's the more complicated question is like this. In here, besides flour and water, there's more ingredients. Now those ingredients are not from the chameshes minei dogon. A little bit of sugar, maybe not that much. Water is don't. There is eggs. There's other stuff that go in.
Maypayers.
Could be mepedas, right? So now that's what we have to deal with. Okay. So the Alter Rebbe continues in the last paragraph. Let's talk about the kamos of grain that's in this mixture. When you have kemach of the chameshes minedog, she eat it also in a pass, and you made pass after bishum avarach olav amoitzi, even though you made amoitzi before, in avarach lachem bechsavazon ezel in kain, yush bekemach hadoga kazayis bechadei achilos pras. Unless you have a kazayis bechadei achilos pras matarovis, vos tzarich lavarach bechsavazon kazayis matarovis. Then you make a bechsavazon. Yeshem sheinu avarach bechsavazon ad sheichel kol apras. Okay, so let me explain over here. Well, if we get a chance, I made a copy in the back. You have the lomdus, but I just want to explain before we get into it. We say the din is that we go in the Issa Vehete, we go with the time. Oh, here. We go basataima, but there's time belama Moshe and time uma Moshe. Most of the Rishonim hold time of Moshe is the Rabbanon. So if you have a little tam cholov, it's not bottle b'shishim, it's not also the Eraisa. You can't give the guy malchus for eating this. A little drop went into the cholon, and there was no shishim. Okay, not allowed to eat it. He ate it. He ate it. Adam said, "Don't eat it." He ate it. Can't give a malchus for that. But there has to be time on mamoshe. You have to have mamoshes here. How much mamoshes do you have to have? You have to have a kazayis b'chdei achilas pras. So if a pras is three beitzim, so here we say 3 beitzim. Okay, has to be a kazayis b'achilas pras. Now he's going to chap malchus. How much does he have to eat of this chon to chap malchus? Some Rishonim say this is a sugya chulin where we talk about time of mamoshoy. A long toisvus, one of the fat big toisvus, and Rabbeinu Chaim toisvus says he has to eat 1 kazayis of this chon. And the Rashba and the Chidushim screaming and yelling said, "What are you talking about? He has to eat the whole thing. He has to eat. If you give him kazayis, he didn't eat a kazayis of say. Let's not talk milk. Let's talk treif, chazit, a piece of chaylim. He says you have to eat the whole pras." So Alter Rebbe explains what's the machloikis between Rabbeinu Chaim and the Rashba. Rabbeinu Chaim holds that the heter itself became isur. when you have a kazayis b'chdei achilas pras of the chaylev in the kosher cholent, the cholent itself became chaylev. The cholent became chaylev. That's what the Torah is telling us. The cholent is chaylev. Ein shtik chaylev. The Rashba holds, no, the cholent didn't become chaylev. The chaylev is chaylev and the cholent is cholent. It's just that the cholent doesn't cancel out the chaylev. So if you ate, say there was one kazayis, or it has to be whatever the cheshbon is. If it's say half is chaylev and half is cholent, so you have to eat 2 kazaysim. You can't give him malchus if he didn't eat a kazayis of chaylev. He has to eat a kazayis of chaylev. The heta didn't cancel out the isur, but you got to eat the kazayis of the isur. That's the machlokas that Rabbi Chaim ended on. Right.
What if the chaylev is roiv and it's not the roiv, the non-chaylev?
Okay, so that's a shaila. That's a shaila that goes into big machlokas, but
Can't be mechayim deraisa.
The pashtus.
Bit of roiv is deraisa. But of shittim is deraisa.
no.
It's not. So how could that be?
It is. But you can't get malchus for it. It could be it is, but you don't get malchus
But it's
for
a
it.
suffix.
Just like chatzi shir.
It's
It's
a
not a
suffix.
suffix.
It's for sure.
Just like chatzi shir, you don't get malchus for it. Just like chatzi shir. The Torah says, we paskin like a birchen, chatzi shir, that it's osur, but you don't get malchus for it. The same thing here. Person that eats it is, it could be, it's osur in a Torah, but he doesn't get malchus for it.
No, but in other words, let's say you only had a gazayis, but you know there's not just dogan in here. You still would make an alamichi, wouldn't you?
Oh, this is exactly our
That's the
shaila.
shaila here. But he's asking. I'm saying what he just asked.
Oh, so this is exactly the
Because,
shaila.
yeah, I mean, if it's bought to b'shishim and he has a gazayis, even though it's not all chaylev, so if you can make an alamichi on this gazayis, then you're mechayev.
This comes down to this machloikas. If you hold that the het and nepachli is isur, so then most cake and things and bread, they for sure have a kazayis b'chdei chilus pras of dogon, right? So as long as you eat a kazayis, you don't have to. Never mind the eggs. Don't worry about the eggs. Don't worry about. You just eat one kazayis, and you're good. But if you hold like the other opinion, then you have to eat a little more than a kazayis in order to do bichas hamazon, because there's eggs in here, there's sugar, there's other stuff in here.
Right.
So you have to eat a little more. So here, yes, and now the Alter Rebbe compares it. The Alter Rebbe proves that the poskim compare it, and not only that, the Rambam in Hilchas Chometz U'Matzah says that your yoytze matzah on the type of matzah that you make birchas hamazon. So we see that the Rishonim compare it. The Rishonim compare it. That's a Befedish Rambam, Pedig Vav, Hilchas Chometz U'Matzah. He says the matzah that you make birchas hamazon, that's the matzah you eat for achilas matzah. So now
That's
we can
all water and
right. That's good. Right. Exactly. Over there is other Sheilos. Kemach shalechad. In other words, over there it's the Sheilos if you put an apple juice. So that would turn to become anyway. It's matzah shida anyway. But one of the reasons is because you can make birchas hamazon. Kemach shalechad chameshes minei dagen she'edev. Again, the Alter Rebbe. If you mix chameshes minei dagen, you have other ingredients. Basam and a pas. Even though you make hamoitzi, if you eat one kazais, you have to eat the whole pras. That means you have to eat a full zayis of grain. Different should be made. What should you make? So if you ate only one kazais of bread, obviously in this kazais of bread, this kazayis of bread does not have a kazayis of dogon. So what should you make? So the Ketzois HaShulchan, which is the Avram Chaim Noah, which is considered Chabad, he understood, he was in the Alter Rebbe. He thinks the Alter Rebbe would say you should make alamichya.
Even so it's not a kazayis of dogon.
Right. And the same thing he says would be by the same. No. Yeah, this goes into all the shilas. But not again now chaylev. How about cake? What should you do with cake? If a person adds a piece of cake, he ate a kazayis of a piece of cake. So
for sure there's other things in there.
For sure there's other things. So over here he says, look now that I turn the page. The Alter Rebbe says in Pekudei Gimel Halacha Beis, Yesh Einim Shein Levarich La'achirav Mein Gimel. If you eat a piece of cake, you can't make alamichya. Elim Ken Yesh Betaruvas Kazayis Dogem Bechei Achilas Pras. Has to be a Kazayis Dogem and Pras. In other words, within the 3 beitzim, there has to be 1 kazayis. It means 1 of 6. 1 of 6.
3
at least
dates.
a pras is 3 beitzim. A loaf is 6 beitzim. A pras is 3 beitzim.
How's the period of time?
1 second. To make an al michya, you need a shear,
That means-
a zman of pras.
No,
Chilas
the
pras.
mixture that there has to be. Basically,
To make al michya, you need a
1/6.
kazayis.
Yeah, but if you didn't, how about if this over here, there was eggs and there was sugar and there was so little flour in here that there's not 1 out of 6, 1/6 of here is not even flour. You have less than 1/6 of flour over here. That's the shayla. Less than 1/6 of
It's like
flour.
almost a gluten-free design.
Right.
It's very uncommon.
It's very uncommon.
Usually,
very uncommon.
usually half at least.
Right.
flour.
It's not a common thing. This is a big machloikas. The Gro and the Alter Rebbe both passing against the Shulchan Aruch. Shulchan Aruch holds that even then is alamicha, and the Alter Rebbe and the Gro both say it can't be. That's crazy. That's crazy. There can't be that this should be alamicha. It has to be better than Voshes. The Alter Rebbe says a Yiras Shamayim. No, Alter Rebbe says you make an alamicha because that's what Shulchan Aruch says. But if you're Yiras Shamayim, you should eat only in Suda. But this is not the regular thing of cake. The regular thing of cake, there's at least a kazayis b'chdei chilas pras. But really, what he's trying to show you is it's Alter Rebbe's mashma. That's the only case where you will not make alamicha. But regular cake, as long as you eat 1 kazayis, you're going to make alamicha. So we see from the Alter Rebbe, the Mishnah Brura doesn't pass that way. Mishnah Brura holds, based on the Gra, that it makes no difference if it's cake or bread. It doesn't matter. We have to be machmir like the sheet of the Rashba, and we don't say that the heter itself turned into isur. So therefore, in order to bench or to make an alamichya, either way, you have to eat at least 1 kazayis of flour. You have to eat 1 kazayis of dogan, and that kazayis is to be eaten within the time. In other words, there has to be the mixture and the time has to be b'chdei chilas pras. The Alter Rebbe is mechalik. The Alter Rebbe holds if it was bread, you have to be there has to be taka that you eat a full kazayis of flour, and if it's cake, yeah. Well, why is the difference? I'm sorry. Let me stop a second. What were you saying? What's the difference? I'd say Poshet. I think why the difference in the Alter Rebbe holds is like this. What's the Alter Rebbe saying? Alter Rebbe is saying that you have to be makel by sofek brachas. So what happens when you make an alamichya? You always have to make an after bracha. So if you're making a burden of foshes on alamichya, you're not making a different bracha. You're making the same bracha, right? Alamichya or burden of foshes, he's saying the Hashem's name.
Maybe you don't make any enough bracha.
No, you for sure have to make a noch bracha. Shaila is if you're making
Which one?
alamichya or burden of foshes. So the Alter Rebbe holds over here you're not making an extra bracha. So we should go like Rabbeinu Chaim because the Alter Rebbe is more noited to Rabbeinu Chaim that really everything turned into the heter atzma and nepach liyas isur. But when it comes to Birchas Hamazon, what are you going to say instead of 1 bracha, 4 brachas? So there the Alter Rebbe holds that sofek brachas that you can't make a benching unless you ate a full kazayas of flour. So that's the bottom line of how the Alter Rebbe holds. The Mishnah Brura holds l'chumra in both. Based on, as I said, from the Gra, he holds that cake, or the Alter Rebbe holds that darf man nicht haben na sehr viel Taivis, darf man nicht essen na sehr viel cake. So don't be such a big bell taiva. Don't worry, you can eat. Don't tell me you have to eat a second cookie in order to make an alamichya. Darf nicht sein als a greise tzaddik. You have 1 cookie. I'm telling it to you a way to remember the difference of the Alter Rebbe and the Psak the Mishnah
How
Brura.
about pizza? You have to eat 2 or 1 to make
1 second. Let's talk about cookies.
Are you talking about better than Muslim al
Because I'm
michya?
Muslim.
Let's talk about
That's
cookies. Let's talk about cookies. Let's talk about
Mishnah
cookies
Brura
first.
didn't know about pizza.
Exactly. Mishnah Brura didn't hear about pizza. So, but cookies the gahat, lekach the gahat, right? So, according to the Mishnah Brura, you cannot make alamichya or bench. I don't care benching alamichya; it's all the same. We're machmir like the Rashba, and we say the heter doesn't turn into yisur. You want to bench, you want to make alamichya, you have to make sure not only you ate it within the time, but the mixture has to be that you ate a kazayas of dagon. That means you ate a kazayas of flour. Don't tell me, oh, you ate this. I don't want to know this. I want to know how much flour is in here. Do you have a kazayas of flour in here or not? The Alter Rebbe says, depends. If it's bread, I want it to be machmir. I want you to eat a kazayas of flour. So if you eat a kazayas of flour, you need to eat a little more than this. But if you're eating cake, if you had one cookie, it's already good enough to make an alamicha. That's why last night.
Unless it's not a sandwich cookie, because then the klem in the middle can't be mitzvah. No, that's not a yuri.
Nah, that's not. The cream in the inside is not mitzvah.
But one of Peretz's
But for
famous
sure it's
Oreo
buckle.
cookies is not an alamicha.
Huh?
One of Peretz's famous cookies can't be an alamicha. One of those little Oreo cookies is not an alamicha.
One of those Oreo cookies.
Yes, let's.
Wait, it says 6 is 32 grams.
But it's go by value.
I know,
Go by value.
But still, if you have to squish this up, that's even more fluffed up.
Right.
Yeah, but the cookie itself is 2 ounce pieces.
I'll tell you what.
But one for sure not. And
I wouldn't eat one Oreo cookie and not make a. I would eat a half Oreo cookie or 2 Oreo cookies. I wouldn't eat one and not make a bracha chorona. I would take a little nibble of a piece of an Oreo cookie, not make an alamicha. But a full Oreo cookie.
So what's better, to eat a half or to eat 2?
Better.
According to Mishnah Berurah, you need 4. According to Adonai, you need 2.
Exactly. Better to eat 2. You can make an alamicha. What's the shayla? According to the Chazal
Your taiva is to make the bracha chorona, not eat the
exactly. But don't tell me you want to eat a third one. Now, don't tell me.
To be yoitze.
Yeah.
To make peace between them is not good.
Right. No, dafür essen the dritte cookie. So that's again bottom line. If you're eating bread, then make sure that you're eating within 3 minutes, and also that you're eating at least a kazayis of flour. That means more than just this. But if you're eating a cookie, again the time has to be within 3 minutes, and the other shittas will hold up to 7 minutes. But you should eat it within 3 minutes. We should. If you don't have to eat more than a kazayis of dogan. L'chol adayis, mishenichnas adar zo'arvim besimcha. L'chaim has to be more than a revius, and the farbaisen has to be more than a kazayis. L'chol adayis.
Ring has to be longer than 2 hours.
And tonight in Mirz Hashem, we're going to verbring L'kovet chov zayin zach adar. So for sure we'll make l'chaim more than a revius, so we'll have farbaisen more than a kazayis. L'chaim, l'chaim.
Here's the